Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Voices of Western, the Humans of Western podcast. If you're new, welcome. This is the podcast where we dive deeper into the personal lives of students, staff, faculty, and alumni here at Western Campus and all its lovely affiliates. Today, I'm joined with Cole Sweets, a third year student studying computer sciences.
Hi everyone, my name's Cole Sweet.
Yeah,
What Emmanuel said.
I just said that. Thank you. Um, um, Lovely to see you. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. I thought that the heat hadn't turned on in my building yet, but apparently I just don't know how. I just didn't turn it on.
Uh,
So I was freezing for the past 2 days, but today was good because I finally turned it on.
And that makes sense. I like it is horrible outside right now, very cold.
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
like my room is right, like my bed is right next to a very large window, and
Me too.
I wake up cold, and I'm like, God, please, I can't do
I
anything
know.
now. It
I
sucks.
get it. I feel it. I don't want to get out of bed. I've been going to bed in a robe because I've been so cold.
I think I wore socks to sleep for the first time in a while yesterday because I just could not handle it. My feet have been
Someday
cold
I'll
all
get
day
there.
today. It's not well, it's not the worst evil, but it's not great.
Mm.
Okay, on to actual things that matter. What did you do today?
Today was a work day for me. So I work at a game company called Big Blue Bubble here in London as a game programmer, as an internship through the science internship program. I work in office Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but Thursdays and Fridays I work from home.
Hmm.
So today was a nice, relaxing work day from what was it 7:30 to 4.
No, okay,
So
four.
working away, and then I had a nice stir fry dinner,
Two.
and here I am now.
Solid, solid.
Yeah. How about you? How was your day?
Also, an internship student, Western science internship student, also doing a hybrid remote job. I work usually Mondays and Tuesdays, or Tuesdays and Wednesdays in office, and Thursdays and Fridays, and whatever the day between the first 3 days that I did not choose from home. Today was a work from home day. And I was really cold. I was really cold the whole time. My heater sets to 25 degrees, which I think is the regular degrees to set it to, but maybe
Yeah,
I'm just cold internally and have to reckon with that.
could be.
Yeah. But how's the internship program been for you?
It's been good. It's been fun. So what? It's been 7 months now. We
7?
started in May. Uh, just gonna assume that that's around what I'm saying. But it's been good. Went through all the summer, and as expected, it's been weird to come back in September and October, November, and not be in school.
Mm,
It's like the first time in like 7 years that I've. It's been September and I haven't been getting ready to start going back to school, so that's been weird. But the internship itself has been great. I've had the chance to meet a lot of really cool people. I get a chance to work with friends of mine because they're also at the same company as me doing internships. But so overall, it's been a good time. It's been a good time.
good. What's your internship been like? What have you been doing there?
Yeah. So Big Blue Bubble. Most people know Big Blue Bubble for making a iOS, well, just a mobile game now called My Singing Monsters.
Oh my
Um,
God, you make the you make the monster sing?
you bet that is actually a large part of my job. Is so a large part of my responsibilities at Big Blue Bubble is what's called content integration or live operations, where artists, animators, musicians, designers all make content for the game. So they'll make a new monster, they'll design it, what are its stats, what does it look like, how does it move, how does it sound, all of these things. And as a programmer there, part of my job is taking all that stuff and getting it actually into the game and out into players' hands. So that's a large part of what I do at Big Blue Bubble. Lots of handling of data. And also we work on some other stuff. So we have some internal tools for a variety of things because we're a very um, customer facing company. When you have like a live service game, you need some way to communicate with players. So we need a lot of tools for that. And that's the main stuff. I also work a little bit on the sequel to My Singing Monsters called Dawn of Fire.
No.
Same sort of situation of adding content, but vastly different because like my Zing Monsters is 11 years old now.
Wow.
And yeah. And the sequel Dawn of Fire is like running in like a modern game engine. And my Zing Monsters is definitely not.
Okay.
But either way, that's kind of the main stuff that I do at work. Work wise, but not work wise, lots goes on also. We have a nice ping pong tournament and a ping pong ladder, or sorry, table tennis because it's very official. That is played very often because we have a table tennis table in the lunchroom. So I've been slowly getting better at that. And there's always stuff going on in the office, like events and all that jazz. We're doing a bunch of fundraising this month for a variety of things. So yeah, that's been good. And we go for walks every day. And once a week, I've been going to the Covent Garden Market. Uh, have you been there?
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, yeah. So like once a week, you say once a month, once a week I go there every Wednesday to get lunch because I love that soup, man. Piping kettle,
Oh, I got an
I
ad
love it
about
so
it
much.
recently. I'm sure it's
You
great.
did?
Yeah,
It's
it's great.
fantastic. And also like it's soup season. So
It is
like
soup season.
I had soup today. Perfect.
Glad to hear. Glad to hear. It's- that sounds like a really, really ideal job. I think like a
That's
lot
right.
of people would love the idea of like, oh yeah, I work at a game company. I make games sometimes, and then I go for lunch and play table tennis. Then I go back home and I drink soup. It sounds awesome.
Yeah. That's definitely like I feel like a lot of people game development's a really weird space. Especially for people that are in like computer science. Because if you're computer science like I am, you can graduate and fight every other computer science student to get a job at I don't even know what they're calling it now. Fang manga, is that what they're calling it? Because it's meta now. I don't know, but like the big companies, the big tech companies, are working at a bank, and you'd make money, and it would be a really interesting job. But for games, most people don't get into it for money because you can't, because there is not as much money in it as under like other industries. And so I can't remember who said it, but there was some actor that said it who said you only go into acting if you need to. Like if there's like a primal thing in you that says I need to act. And I feel like it's similar with games where I'm in it because I need to make games. It's what I do. And the benefits are that yeah, it's working at a studio is a lot of fun because everyone's sort of on the same page because everyone likes games and wants to create stuff. And that makes it just a really fun space. So definitely a neat place to work.
Yeah. You have a lot of creative liberty when it comes to your role in this company.
Not a whole like in programming roles, especially for like live ops and DevOps, there isn't a lot of um, creative liberty for the actual game. Of course, like I make tools for myself to make my work go faster, and like there you have like I have the option to make the tool however I want. Um, but as for like actually in the game, I don't have a lot of like particular say. There are times where there'll be like an issue that pops up because when you have like an 11-year-old game, uh, its its code base and its content has a legacy that goes back a long time. It can be difficult to work with sometimes. So sometimes a lot of these issues, these bugs pop up, um, where it's sort of my job to say, hey, this is what the situation is. These are different ways to solve it that I've like that we've figured out. What do you think as like the producer? Like, what do you think is the best choice for us to go forward? But as in terms of like actually like, oh, I want to make a new monster. Not as much of my role, um, but maybe someday. Sounds
Yeah,
kind of neat.
hopefully. Hopefully. Um, well, I'm glad you enjoy what you do at least. Sounds like a really good time for you. You get to make tools to make it go faster. In my
Yeah.
internship, I do what I'm told a lot of the time. And although as much as fun as it is, I have some creativities. I work for a company called ICS Western. It is a nonprofit healthcare research organization.
Right.
They they provide data to different researchers across the province. I if if nothing else is happening at the site, that's my job. I help a researcher start their project at the site or get the data they need or help them apply for grants. That's not usually what I'm doing because I have to do all the other things that they ask me to do, which is maybe I'm helping plan out a research seminar, maybe I'm scheduling a steering committee meeting.
Mhm.
Um, I'm the facility administrator, so I guess it makes sense that I do things related to the facility. But like,
Right.
I do whatever. I do whatever, and I get to make some funny little graphics sometimes.
Oh my
I am not a
God.
graphic designer at all, so I don't know how good they are. But Canva is becoming a friend, a distant friend, but a friend all the same.
A distant friend? Why a distant friend?
I don't. I'm not that good at. Well, I want to be, but I don't want to be. I want to be a good designer in my own right.
Okay, I hear that.
Which is selfish, and that
No,
doesn't help me
I
move
get it.
forward.
I get it. I feel
Like,
like you can make stuff in Canva really quick, but you don't have always the same control if you're like doing stuff in like
yeah.
actual like designing programs. I haven't gone that far into like visual design. I would like to go further into it though.
Mm. Wow. Speaking of how far you've gotten, let's talk about where you started. How was
Yeah.
coming to Western for you?
It was good. It was kind of a no-brainer for me, due to a bunch of situations. So the first thing was is that I come from a lineage of Mustangs.
Right.
My mother went to Western, and three of my sisters went to Western, which is all of my sisters.
All right.
Uh, so the only one in my family that didn't go was my dad. So it kind of made sense to go to Western. And when I had first came to Western in my first year, two of my sisters were still here. So it's nice to be able to move out and still have that support network. And also, I like my family, so that was definitely a draw.
Glad.
And the other stuff that was going on is in high school, I was at like a diverging point between becoming an actor. I applied to Juilliard and I went to New York and did an audition and I didn't get in. And so the other
Oh.
plan, yeah, yeah. Oh, really? You didn't get into
No,
Juilliard?
yeah, I guess you wouldn't. Well, that feels mean. I guess you aren't in Juilliard right now.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
oh, as in, oh wow, that's a big thing. I'm sure it would have been really sad to not get in.
yeah. I mean, honestly, it was kind of a relief because
Oh,
you go to Juilliard and you have no money
true.
because that tuition, it's American tuition, so it is awful.
Stabbing, I imagine.
It's
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it would have been cool to be in New York. I don't know. I feel like I would
Oh,
live in my actor life in New York, but I still get to act here and then, so that's or here and there, so that's nice. But yeah, so I didn't get into Juilliard, and so my other plan was to go into game development and computer science. So originally, I had applied to Sheridan College in Oakville, which is like a big art school for those that don't know. A lot of great animators go there, a lot of great actors go there, and also it's one of like the best game design, game development programs. It's a bachelor as well in all like Ontario, and so I applied for that program and I got in. Um, so that was really exciting, but also Sheridan being kind of like not prestigious, but like it's good at what it does. Also a little bit pricey, a little bit pricey. Um, and also I applied to Western for computer science because, as I said, it kind of made sense. And during high school, my mom had told me, "Hey, Cole, you should apply for this scholarship." And I was like, I don't really want to because I'm really lazy. Which is a fact. I am really lazy.
no. Same.
Uh, so
Same.
I said, I don't really want to, but she's my mom. So I said, and she's right a lot of the time, most of the time. And so I did it. I applied for the scholarship. I wrote my little essay, got nominated, and then somehow they chose me for the scholarship.
Oh,
It's called the Schulich Leaders Scholarship. And back in 2020, it was worth 80K for science.
wow.
Now it's worth 100K for science because of inflation. Like, not like mine isn't worth that. Mine's still worth 80K, but the first years and the second years they have the full 100K for science. So when you compare going to Sheridan and getting a having to pay that much tuition and going to a Western for essentially free or for profit, depending on how you use the money, it just made sense to go to Western.
Yeah, that sounds like it'd make a lot of sense. Wow.
Yeah, right. So so that's what made me go. That's what made me sort of start off at Western, and I
I
made my way out to London.
Yeah, I think that's kind of crazy because you can imagine like I guess you wouldn't experience it, but like a different timeline where you did not make that one specific choice to listen to your mom at the time, you would have been out 80K.
Yeah, look, I have a lot of okay. So other context. Um, I don't know. People always tell me that I've lived a really weird life where I did a lot of stuff. Um, and I feel weird saying that to myself. It's like, oh, I don't know. It feels weird.
Just
But
do
anyway,
things,
so
yeah.
yeah, I try to do things, but basically I was homeschooled until grade 5, and I went to private school in grade 6. Um, but being homeschooled and then going to private school and then going to public high school and university, I have a lot of strong feelings about education. I always feel a little bit icky about like a single marks, single numbers dictating people's lives. Um, because like I don't know, part of getting the scholarship that I got is like, oh, did you have high marks? I'm like, yeah, I did. I did have high marks, but 80K is a lot of money, and that's always been a little bit weird. But I'm happy I have it. It's definitely made a big impact on me, and it's definitely going to be really weird graduating and not having student debt, because I know that that's like a huge deal for most people coming out of university.
Yeah,
So that's definitely something I think about.
definitely food for thought, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Um, well, after getting into Western with your fun scholarship, but how'd you start off to get to where you are now, would you say?
yeah. So the year was 2020.
Nothing was
Great
happening.
year.
Nothing important was
Nah,
happening at all.
just any other regular year.
Yeah.
Um, the most important thing that happened in 2020 for me is that there were gophers everywhere on campus.
I
It
wonder
was
why.
great. I wonder why. I don't know. I don't know. But actually, I said that I wanted to go to computer science, and I did, and I am there now. But I had gone to two of the Western like open houses for like high schoolers, and just went around and saw like what was going on. Went to different uh, talks of people talking about programs, and my mom had seen one for the integrated science program,
Hmm.
and we had no clue what that was. And it was science, and I did science, so we said let's go check it out. And so we went to their little talk, and it was presented by the one and only Felix Lee. And oh my god, if anyone doesn't know, Felix Lee is fantastic. He's a
Nothing.
chem
Nothing.
prof.
Nothing.
He's so great. He's so enthusiastic. And I feel like you can't go like I couldn't go to his talk and not want to join his program, not want to join integrated science. Um, and so I did. First year I was in integrated science, not computer science. And for those that don't know, integrated science, it's you know what it is. It's basically like a mishmash of all the sciences. You do a little
Yeah.
bit of
But of
biology, a
everything.
little bit of chem, a little bit of physics. You do a little bit of everything, but then you specialize in one specific type of science. And my plan was to do computer science. Um, but then through my first year, it happens to like a lot of computer science students in WISC. They drop out of WISC and just go into computer science, like regular old computer science, for a variety of reasons. Just typically that the program's not built as nice for computer science. That doesn't mean you can't do it, but like by default, you'll be behind the other people that are in just computer
That makes
science.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So most, like not most, but like I know quite a few people that did end up leaving the program to do what I did and just go into computer science. But first year was good because integrated science, with Western integrated science, WISC is what I'm calling it. Because WISC is such a small program, like my year was like 40 people, I think it was, or maybe even less, honestly. because it's so small, and it was 2020, we were actually allowed to have classes in person, which was like a big deal because almost everyone, like almost every first year, has like those classes are huge, especially in science.
Yeah.
Um, and so it was a big deal to get to be in person and meet people because I know a lot of people that were in my year that weren't in like small programs. You you basically lose like you lost out on a full year of like the university experience of like getting to meet people and do what a university student does. So I was very lucky to be able to be in person and have that group of people to get close to and socialize with that I still talk to today. I was really lucky. And as I said, for those that are around campus now, like campus is so busy compared to how I first experienced it. Like
Yeah. No gophers. Nowhere to be
no, yeah,
found.
no go. I mean, you'll find them here and there. Like there was some under the stairs by Middlesex. They used to be all under physics and astronomy. They were all around. It was so fun to watch them. I have many pictures. Whenever I saw a gopher, I had many pictures, and I'd feel tempted to feed them like a carrot, but I know you're not supposed to feed wildlife, so I never did. But so first year was wacky, but a lot of fun, and then I dropped out into well, not dropped out. Then I left Whisk and went into computer science, which was a very different experience. But also in first year, um, clubs were like quote unquote running. They existed. So, but I didn't really join any of them because I wasn't. I had no. There was no appeal to me yet of doing a lot of stuff virtually for clubs. So I didn't really experience clubs until like second or third year. But yeah, so that was kind of my first year getting to where I was then.
No
And then
clubs at
lots of
all.
stuff happened.
Did
Yeah, no
you?
clubs at all.
No. Well, that's a shame. I also didn't do any clubs during first year, but I don't know. I'm acting as though that was a rare thing. I also started school 2020 all online,
Yeah,
all for whatever reason. I was at home because it was all online. The choice that they made for
yeah,
for fun, of course.
for
Um,
fun.
yeah, and yeah, anyone I met through some group chat for some large course that
Yeah.
I was in, which is all the courses I was in because it was first year and I was in medical sciences.
I mean,
Um,
we almost met each other like three different times.
true,
Yeah,
that is true. I guess
until
like
like
through,
finally third year we actually met, which I think is crazy.
yeah, we had like it's such like a the dramatic way things say is like, oh, two ships passing the night. We're like, oh, what could have been? But
What could have been? I
um,
always think about it, just like I feel like the more, not the older I get, just like being around the same place more and more, I just like see this web of like connections between people where I'm like, oh my god, you know this person who knows that person who knows this person who knows that person. Um, and I always find that funny.
everything's
I always
connected.
find that really funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Well, how was your second year?
Second year was good. Second year, I think that we are finally starting to get back into like regular university. Like, did you feel that way?
Um, a little, a
A
little.
little?
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
clubs were
you were on
back
campus
on.
that
I was
year.
on campus. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was on campus like the summer, like I think as early as June of 2021. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, beginning of
yeah,
second year.
2021. As early as June, I had a job on campus. I worked as an ASE, academic support and engagement,
What is that?
a student leader. We ran a program for incoming first years, which people came in for the class 20, came in, I graduated high school 2021. And I basically just like talked them through some programming about Western, about like how we like to do education and how we like to build community and stuff like that, different trainings and stuff like that. But it was just several different sessions we led where they got
Hmm.
to walk through campus. I think there was, I don't remember if it was my first year. I think it wasn't my first year that there was an overnight component where sometimes they would, was it second? I had that job for 2 years. I think no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. The next year that I had the job, summer after first second year. Wow, I'm not messing this up so well. Summer after second year, I they introduced a coin where they got to stay overnight in a residence and had food there. It was fun. Um, Not a thing that happened the first time, but
Yeah.
I was in London early. Was the whole point of that story. Worked up until school started, and then I was like, oh, school's starting. Everything seems so odd. I can't imagine this is a normal. This isn't normal. Um, I think second year was off to a weird start.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like second year is when it started to become normal, but I feel like it hasn't felt normal until like this year to me.
We're both on internship this year. Nothing feels
Yeah, well,
normal
no,
to
but
me.
I mean, like I whenever I go to campus, there's just so many people, and there's always
Yeah,
stuff going on,
yeah, huh?
and that's just a big contrast. Like even to like second and third year, I feel for me at least.
It's a lot less restrictive. I definitely agree. Definitely
Yeah.
agree.
Um. But yeah, so second year was good. Second year was, I think almost everything started being like, I think every lecture started being in person that year,
Yeah, a
for me
little
at
bit.
least.
A lot of them
Yeah,
did.
a lot of them started, like the bigger ones started going in person. So that was cool. Um, I had moved out of OHAL. I was in OHAL first year. Yeah, I love OHAL.
Go, oh, wow.
Just because I love food. That's
They
the main
definitely
reason
have
why.
good food, I'm told. I was never in residence, but
Yeah, they did have good food, and the nice thing was is that because it was the COVID year, I was lucky enough to get a double room to myself, which
oh,
was so nice because they keep both beds in there, so you put both beds together, and it's a king.
wow.
So nice. Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. I'm
I'm
on a
sure
single now.
anyone, oh, that's I have a queen. Um, I've having never moved, never lived in residence. I've had a queen bed for such a long time, and I enjoy it all. It's my own mine and mine alone. I think that any first year listening to you right now would be excessively jealous because
Yes.
I think like a lot of really cool experiences to experienced 80K scholarship plus like essentially your own like hotel bed in first, not that
Yep.
it's that comfortable, but like first year,
No,
two,
I know. Like, I've been very, very privileged with like how my first year went. Besides the COVID part, um, but definitely was a unique time. But yeah, second year I moved out, and my sister, my youngest sister, who's still older than me, but my youngest sister was still here um, doing her bachelor. So we moved in over at the Lux on Richmond. So that was fun. That was cool. Nice to be so close to campus. A different side of campus for me though,
yeah,
because I was at like the other end because OHAL. But it was good. It was a computer science year, living out all my computer science life, um, and also getting electives. Because in integrated science first year, you don't really get electives, and you
no,
you kind of barely get them any other year too. At least like you get it significantly less. So I was like, oh my god, electives. So I did like studio art and like Japanese. There's a bunch of stuff. But it was a fun year, and stuff started happening for me. Like I started doing things.
you get to do any clubs?
Yeah, so I finally started doing theater again because I didn't get to do theater and acting in first year because I just don't like doing stuff online, especially for theater and for drama. But it was in person again, kind of in the second year until stuff started getting like shut down at certain points.
Yeah,
But it was in person, so that was great. I met a lot of great people through what used to be called Theater Western, what is now called something else for a lot of for some
USC theater.
Theater USC for some really interesting reasons. Uh, so
You don't have
that's
to
a
get into
fun
that.
that's a fun story that I won't get into.
Yeah, no, not
But
today.
yeah. Is this under USC? Is Human
It is
Western
under
30?
you. No, no,
Okay,
no, no,
yeah.
no,
So
no,
I
not
went.
not this. This is not under
Okay,
USC. This is its own thing. Separate from
okay,
that.
okay, yeah. I
And also, I
just
think it'd be like a
wanted.
lot to get to anyway. We're not gonna do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But anyways, yeah. So I started doing a theater western, which is really fun. Met a lot of great people there, and I started to get a little more serious about for me like pursuing game development as a career, because I said that I'm very lazy, and it's true. I'm very lazy, but maybe it sounds counterintuitive. Like, I'm very lazy, but also I like to get
Do
stuff
things.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like I don't like doing a lot of stuff, but also I don't know how to explain it. Um, I don't have to put more work in. Some I don't know. I do the bare minimum for a lot of stuff, and other stuff I go and do a bunch of stuff. Like I almost never take notes because I don't like to take notes. I'm bad at it, and that's me being lazy for like classes. But for other stuff, I like to really get ahead of it and do what I can, especially when it comes to like the rest of my life. So like my career. So in like first year, I think it was, um, my sister has a friend who went to Sheridan for acting, who knew someone else there that was in their game development program, and was kind enough to chat with me. Like they're called like informational interviews. Sometimes they call them coffee chats. It's just talking to someone that like is in like the industry you're interested in or in the role you're interested in, just to see like just to they use the term always, they say, can I just pick your brain for a little bit? Can I pick your brain? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but I always feel weird. I always feel weird about that stuff like networking. Ugh.
I,
I don't like, oh, I was networking. Ugh. I've always
I,
been of the opinion of like networking is just a weird way to say I was making friends with people.
yeah. A network you well, I was going to use the word to explain it, which isn't good. Um, Networking is excessively professionalized right now. You said
Yeah.
network. He's like, yeah, I went to a network session. Like, you hung out with your friends? Okay.
Yeah. No, I totally feel that. So yeah, I met with this fellow who runs a studio in Toronto, and I just was talking to him about like, oh, how did you get there? What did you do? What would you recommend for me to do to succeed and get ahead and all that random stuff. And he mentioned a bunch of stuff, and one of the things that he mentioned was, hey, if you have a game development club at Western, you should join it. And so I looked into it, and we definitely did not. There was no game development club, but we do have a game development minor under computer science. So I thought that's kind of weird. I feel like it would kind of make sense to have a game development club. So I spent a decent part of my second year working to get what is now called the Game Development Society, or GDS, or sometimes Western Game Development Society because they want their name on it, or just also to be unique from other schools. I was working on getting that ratified under the USC. So that took up a decent amount of my time. So I didn't have the chance to participate in as many other clubs as I would have liked because I was working on trying to make my own club. But the good news with that is that we did get ratified and started running last year. So this is our second year running. I'm no longer the president because I'm on internship, but it's been very, very fun to help where I can and keep it running. So that's been neat.
Yeah. How's the club looking like?
It's good. It's good. So a large part of the club started off as a Discord community, just because that's how you connect with students in like in these days, at least from my experience. Just because like first year for me, 2020, everything was on Facebook. Um, at least a lot of clubs were on Facebook, and I was like,
Which feels older.
it does, right? It does. And
Yeah.
so I started the community on Discord, and so we have a lot of members on there. I think as of right now, we're about 450 people on our Discord server,
Well,
and last year we got about 80 purchased memberships. Um, so that's been good. And uh, the last year was a weird year for the club because like the first year you get ratified, at least in my experience. Um, it's weird because you're learning how to do it. Uh,
yeah. First time and everything.
yeah, and like I had run clubs before. I had been a part of and also was the president of like a drama club in high school, but that's like a school club. And being a USC ratified club is not like it's kind of a school club, but also there's a lot more that goes with it. Like like the bureaucracy side of it, of how to get events approved, what you got to say, how does the finances work, how does elections work, and getting just learning how all that works was made the first year like a learning experience. And also just because how ratification works, you need to have your VPs already, like you need to have people to be the VPs of the club before you're ratified. And those VPs are supposed to be acting in like the first year once you're ratified. But you can't expect people to be like, oh yeah, in 8 months I'll be totally ready to run this club. People
Yeah.
and things change. So it was definitely a weird experience to go in not with like a fresh team. Instead of a team that was there through the ratification process made it really weird. But I was very happy to see that this year with a full fresh new team, bunch of new people, that it's been going better and better. We're always improving. We're doing more events. We're running them more frequently. We're trying to get our Discord community more and more active, which has been super important to me because that's a skill that I'm using now because I'm kind of trying to do what I did with the Game Dev Club to help bolster the game development community of students at Western. I'm trying to do that more in the local area as like just a general London game developer community.
Hmm.
So I learned a lot from GDS in that sense, and trying to apply that to the local community has been really interesting because now I feel like I've learned a lot from that experience. But
But you've been making like it's not the exact same thing. You wouldn't be called the exact same thing, but you've been making a game development society of sorts. Society sounds secret. I don't know how
wait,
to be like a like I want to say so you've been making a that community, but like London broad. So anyone that goes to Fanshawe, Western, students, employed,
yeah,
others.
yeah, exactly. Because people might not know this, but like London, it's there's a pretty decent amount of people in London that do game development,
Mm,
more than I thought. Because we have like Digital Extremes, which makes Warframe, and now making Soulframe, and they made the game called Wayfinder as well. We have Big Blue Bubble, who makes My Singing Monsters, along with various other projects, and they're a part of this bigger conglomerate too. And then we have stuff like it used to be called Tiny Titan, now it's called Doom Turtle. They're in London as well. They make a game called Ember Knights, which is fantastic. And then we used to have Big Viking. We have a bunch of local game devs. A lot of big stuff started in London. Like Ludum Dare is like one of the biggest game jams started here in London. And also we run our own game jam as well. So like there's a pretty big scene of developers in London that make games,
mm.
but it was weird to try and centralize them through changing hubs, which sounds weird and abstract. But I meant more so like they used to all be on Facebook. That group died, and then there was nowhere for people to go. And so my whole goal is to try and bolster that community in well on Discord effectively, just because that's what I'm used to. Um, but yeah, so I've been trying to build this society of game developers here in London.
Yeah, that
It's been
makes.
fun.
How have you been trying? How's that been looking like?
So yeah, it's been really good. So it kind of all started a while ago. So we have this game jam in London called Low Jam.
Mm,
A game jam is kind of like a hackathon. Uh, if you don't know what a hackathon is, it's basically you're given a set amount of time to make a project. So for Low Jam, you're given a week to make a game. The first day is in person, the last day is in person. There's prizes, there's food, there's a lot of industry people, a lot of non-industry people, and hobbyists. But so I really wanted to uh, be a part of the game jam. During my second year, I had participated as a jammer, so I made a project at the game jam, and that was really fun. And I also had the opportunity to um, give a talk at the jam, and that was because I had met someone through Theater Western who was also a part of that. Again, the idea of like people is everywhere connecting.
yeah.
And so this year, I was like, "Hey, I want to help run this jam. Can I help?" And they're like, "Yeah, for sure." And so I started helping and seeing how stuff ran and doing whatever I can to get the event running. And I always feel like when it comes to doing anything new for me, I always take a period of time learning how it all works. Like the idea, I call it like a lot of clubs have like junior reps. And like the whole point of a junior rep is that they are just seeing how everything runs and how it works, so that when it's their turn to stand up and like take the initiative and be the new leader, they can recognize this is how it was done in the last time. This is how it all worked. This is how I'm going to approach it and do it differently and do it better. And I feel like me having the chance to help run LoJam makes me understand, oh, this is what is going on. This is how stuff works. What can I do to kind of bolster the community and keep it strong and going and active? And I found that we had a lot of engagement on like a lot of virtual engagement this year for the event. So it kind of made sense to make that Discord community and get everyone active on it and posting and talking about their games and talking about just generally socializing because people like to meet other people. And
Yeah.
another key thing that the community does is that every Wednesday, the first Wednesday of every month, so the first Wednesday of every month, we have a local game developer meetup at Poacher's Arms, where everyone comes. We'd all sit at a table and just chat and eat food. Poacher's Arms has really good fries, like Costco fries. So I'm always happy to go there to the meetup. That's the main stuff that's happening. Really, I just started trying to bolster this like the local community more. So I'm working towards seeing what else I can do to keep it going strong.
That sounds great. I'm glad you
Hmm.
have that's I don't even know what story to parallel that with. That's like a really good, unique experience that you've just made something your own and helped set up like something for I don't want to say generations, but like a community that you're new to as well, which is really, really good.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna keep it going, see what I can do. See what I can
yeah,
do. I like doing stuff. I like to be busy with a lot of stuff going on.
yeah, that makes sense. In that regard, have you made any games on your own? Any
Oh yeah,
projects that
yeah.
way?
So I've been making games since around high school. Cause okay, so the full story. This is a life story, big story moment of how I started making games. So I was homeschooled, and at the time, so I grew up homeschooled with my sisters, and we were musicians. We learned how to play. I did cello. We were a string quartet, and
This is just
then
a random fact to throw in at the end of the video.
yes, but this leads to how I started making games, and then I
Okay.
stopped doing music, and instead we started doing dance. So I was doing dance, and I was homeschooled at this time as well. So when I was at home, I was playing this game called Little Big Planet, which is kind of part game engine,
Yeah.
and you kind of make content and make games. So I was doing dance at night, and during the day, I was doing making games. And then at some point, my mom, as always, said, "Hey, you should apply to this program. It's a school called the National Ballet of Canada, or National Ballet School of Canada. It's a boarding school where you go and live in Toronto and you learn how to become a ballet dancer." So I applied for it. I got in. I was there for 3 years, from grade 6 until grade 8. And when I was there, I was placed in the advanced math class. And in the advanced math class, we had started learning how to do coding, how to program. And I said, wow, I love doing this. And I don't really like ballet all that much. And so I left because either you stay at MBS and you go into ballet for for life basically, or you leave and do something else. And so I left and went to high school, regular person high school, and
Regular
started
person high
doing
school.
regular
Okay.
person high school, which is the first for me because it was like I was homeschooled
Homeschooled
and I was in
to
private
private
school and then I
school.
went to
Yeah.
regular human person high
Regular.
school.
Keep making you weirder. Yeah. That's a high
So I get to
school.
high school, and one of my extracurriculars was learning how to program games. It was a program called Real Programming for Kids, where they were teaching programming through making games,
Mhm.
and that's sort of where I started actually like from the ground up learning how to make games, and I've been doing it ever since. A bunch of small games for game jams, some other projects that I work with, just a bunch of stuff, learning whatever I can. I'm a big learning person. I love learning stuff. So I've definitely made quite a few games. I made a game at the past Low Jam. I'm making a game now. Um, so yeah, to answer the question, that was a full context of saying yes. I've made a lot of games and for quite a while. Anything
Yeah.
I'm super proud of, I mean, it's a learning process. So
Yeah. Well, the final question to close out the interview: what are you working on now? Would you say, aside from internship, like personally, what are you working on now in terms of games?
okay, yeah. So obviously there's bolstering that local developer community. A friend of mine has this idea to run another game jam in addition to Low Jam, so I'm going to be helping wherever I can to get that going. I'm starting a team. So that person I had talked to who told me to join the game dev club, um, they had a team of students at Sheridan who eventually graduated and incorporated their own company, game dev studio, and so I'm hoping to be able to do the same. And so this year, I'm really trying to get people, form a team, make something interesting, make a good game, or make just a bunch of stuff, with the hopes of maybe one day incorporating after graduation and having a game studio to run. So that's where I'm at now. Right now, it's called Over Easy Games. We're still very early in this process of making a team, making games, but that's the main stuff that I'm working towards.
That sounds great, and I wish you all the best with that. And that is
Thank you.
all the time that we have, I guess. I'm deciding that, so it's all the time we have. Thank you for coming on and talking about all these amazing things you've gotten to do and amazing things you are hoping to continue to do.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye. Have a good night.
Bye. Hi again. Thank you for listening to Voices of Western. I've been your host, Emmanuel. Feel free to follow the Humans of Western Instagram account at humans_Western, TikTok, Humans of Western, as well as our YouTube channel, Humans of Western. For more of our podcasts, check out Voices of Western on all podcast platforms. Thanks for listening and have a great day.